Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Fireside Chat for Inspired Connections, which is our beautiful book launching on Friday, the 17th of March, 2023. And may this be an evergreen little broadcast because I've got the most fantastic person here that I'm interviewing, Kez Wickham St. George. Welcome and thank you for coming on here with me. I am so curious to know what on earth brought you into the space of wanting to do this work with us. Let me tell you, everyone, a little bit about Kez before we dive in. Kez is actually a multi-published, award-winning author in her own right. She lives in the world of books. She writes books, she reviews books, she promotes books, she does all kinds of things with books. She actually creates corridors between the authors and the countries that they publish to make their book shine by promoting them on YouTube and in many different magazines. So, with this sort of pedigree, and here we are, a bunch of us who've got together to write this book. Some have written before, some have never been published yet. What brought you to this project?
Goodness, I have compiled my own anthology with 18 different women. That was last year. I got published again last year, but I've always wanted to be involved in an anthology as an author and not have to compile, edit, anything like that. Just wanted to write my simple little story and get on with it. So when I saw this was happening and I approached Crystal, we hadn't met before. We'd heard about each other, but we hadn't actually met. And I said to her, what can I do to help? Because I do have a very wide audience of what I do. And she offered me one of the editing positions. So it's constructive editing, really. And so I took it on board. I was really interested. I don't often do that side of the work, but I'm very capable of doing it. So I thought, let's give it a go. And I must admit, I was overwhelmed by the amount of inspiration all the stories gave me. I just found the whole book very tidy, inspiring, and there were quite a few people in there that really ticked their boxes with me. And I thought, I just want to stay in contact with these people because, as a life of an author, it's quite a solo life, really. You can get quite so tied up in your own little world of what you do and what you say, that you forget that there's a world out there and you have friends out there. And my friends are always knocking on the door and saying, come out. And I'm saying, no, I haven't got time. So losing friends fast at this end. So I wanted to stay in contact with with major of the more senior female authors. You all had wonderful stories. The book just inspired me.
And so can you just share a little bit about what is it that ticks the boxes of someone like you who's already, so well established in the book world? What do you look for in terms of, something that really inspires you, that you want to know this person?
Authentic. If they're authentic, you can soon tell by a person's written word whether they're authentic or not. And I guess that comes through years and years of doing what I do. I spent 20 years building up what I do. So you can tell whether a person's authentic or whether they're playing, or having a play at writing and wanting to get their message across, but it doesn't quite sit right. So I can tell the difference, and that's what intrigued me about the book, because each and every one of you had a wonderful story. And we're very authentic about writing it.
Well, that's lovely to hear. And I'm really curious about your story. What is your simple little story all about that you would just give us a very brief? We don't want to spoil it because this book needs to be read. But just,
Okay.
what perhaps some of the highlights of one highlight of your story?
Okay. So my story literally wraps itself around hope. And hope, I just read it in a book the other day, had to go, hope has feathers that sits in your heart ready to wing its way to glory.
Oh, that is beautiful. Hope has feathers. It
Mm.
sits in your heart, ready to wing its way to glory.
Mm.
Oh, Kez, that's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm
Thank
full
you
of
for
good
sharing.
quotes like that.
Yeah.
But my story revolved around hope. No matter what age you are, you may be. I didn't realize my skills and talents till I was in my 50s. I was helping everybody else become who they wanted to be. I do a lot of motivating, so I was really into that, and it was all free. It was online, and there wasn't much online when I was
Mm.
50. It was all just coming into practice then. So, and suddenly I realized, hey, I've got more to give. And so it's the whole book is like when I'm 20, when I was 30, when I was 40. That's the way I wrote the book, of all these, you will find things in everybody's life. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's life, we have setbacks. And I
Mm.
named mine. They were more like my family, and the what can you call it? When people see you rising up to be who you are, they tend to get a bit agnostic towards you. They get, a little bit of bullying goes on in the background, and you've got to learn
Mhm.
to step over that. You've got to learn to
Mm.
step over it and recognize your own greatness. That's what,
Mm. So this is about you stepping over those things and recognizing your own greatness. You
yeah.
can't stop those things, can you? They will
It's
do
like,
what they will do.
people will talk about you, families will fall away, people will get sick, and it's up to you to think, I can do this. No matter
Yeah.
how you do it, I can do it. We as women are so fabulous. We are so full of inner wisdom, which comes from our ancestors, that it just makes me stop and think, oh my goodness, I don't have to worry about this because I can do it. Whether it's finances, I always find that someone will step up and say, I can help. Let's look at it this way. And think, oh yeah, let's look at it this way. So yeah, that's what the book was about. It was about hope. It was about engineering hope as well.
Beautiful. Well, I can't wait to read your chapter. And I would also like to know what else you have to say about books in general. And, as someone who works with so many authors, do you have a message for people who would be aspiring to be an author?
Give it a go. I know that's a real Aussie saying, but it's if you don't try, you won't find out.
Yes.
It's that simple. If you don't put some words on paper, how do we know you're going to be an author? How do we
Mhm.
know? You might be making comments on people's books. People do, they make comments. You go to a newspaper, you can make comments in a newspaper, make comments in a magazine. It's all there. But if you find that your words are growing, your vocabulary and writing is growing, then for goodness sake, start journaling and make sure.
Mhm.
And this is what I used to do, and this is advice to anybody. I journaled for years, and I would find that I would find a word, just say like the word I used, engineering, I would underline it, or the word
Mhm.
hope, I would underline it, because I knew what those words meant. If you use words you don't know what they mean, then you're lost. So use your own vocabulary when you're writing.
I love that. So journaling and
Mm,
use your own vocabulary.
yeah. Now, I'll tell you why. Recently, I wrote a post for a very, very big, well-known international magazine. She got back to me. She said, I've changed it a little bit. Well, she had changed it a little bit, but in her words. That wasn't me speaking.
Ah.
Just wasn't me. I don't use business language. I'm a very personal, in tune, in touch with many different authors. I go from the heart and my gut. I don't go from education.
Mm.
And so it was a very different post that she posted, that because I hadn't, what she changed was very important to me.
Mm.
Um, and I had no chance of getting back to her because it was gone. It was out there.
It was
Yeah,
out
so
there
it was.
representing you. Oh no.
Well, it wasn't from the heart. It was it was me, but very
Yes.
business.
Mm.
And I do run a business, but I'm very heart centered. I think it's so important for women to realize our wisdom our genetic wisdom comes from the heart. It doesn't come from education. Standing in a like I used to be the head tutor of a college in Auckland, and I used to teach them how to motivate themselves. That was our first lesson every Monday morning till Friday morning, and we chose words out of that script that would motivate us. I actually taught tourism, so and then we would start on the road of business language, which I was never truly at home with. I did it, but the wages were enormous, and I did it, and I did it well, and
Yeah.
I know I did it well, but the heart would say to me, this isn't what you want to say. You want to say, come on, folks, let's grab a bus and go for a journey somewhere and see these places for ourselves. Let's write stories about them. But it never happened like that.
Yes. Yes. There's for many people there's a gulf between what they feel that they want to express and what they believe that the readers will want to receive,
Yes.
depending on what audience it is, and especially in the context of marketing and promotions. Now, you do a lot of that work as well, I believe, in terms
I
of,
do.
not that you're a marketing consultant, but you help people promote their books.
Yep.
How do you tackle that bridge between meeting the audience where they're at and sharing the heart of the person?
The heart will always normally comes out in the blurb, which is on the back of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then you choose poignant words to describe the book. I guess you could call me a bit of a wordologist because I love looking at words that are inspiring and giving hope and clarification. So I will choose a passage either from the foreword or from the blurb on the back, and that will be my intro into the book.
Beautiful.
So they're not my words, they're your words.
Beautiful. I love that. So do you have you mentioned to me earlier on that you had a bit of a manifesto that you adopted quite early in the piece. Would you like to share that with the people that are listening today?
Explain manifesto, sir.
Or you had it's not a manifesto, I beg your pardon, it's a mantra.
A mantra.
You
Be
had
seen,
a
be
mantra?
heard, be known.
That's it.
Yeah. That's worked for me.
Yes.
It's if you're an author, or no matter what you are, a ballerina, a water carrier, if you want yourself known out there in the world for what you do, then be seen, be heard, and be known. Whether you hire someone to do it for you or whether you do it yourself, it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you what, I have come across some shocking people that put up the most shocking adverts. I think, oh, please correct your spelling.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, people will say, oh, that's interesting. I'll ring him to do whatever they want done. It's their clever way. It's a very clever way of bringing customers to your door.
You think they do it on purpose?
Of course they do.
Oh, goodness me.
Because if they're that bad at vocabulary and typing, they never get their name wrong and they never get their address wrong.
That's what we have to watch for. Yes. Then you see the strategy. Oh, it's very good. Very good. Well, what else could we share with people today? What are you up to? Okay, let's just share first of all, we're talking about this book that we've been collaborating on. So let's give people the opportunity to buy this book if they would like to. Now, we are doing, if you're watching this before the 17th of March, you're going to have the opportunity to join us on our special launch promotion, which is basically that we're going to be offering our book right here at this link as an ebook on Kindle, which you will be able to purchase for only 99 US cents. And in actual fact, all the proceeds from that launch go to the Rise Up charity, which is an Australian not-for-profit that helps women in abusive relationships who are suffering from domestic violence in many, many ways. So it's a beautiful cause. That's where the money's going. If you're able to support us in this way, we'd really love it because it'll help us achieve the visibility that we need to have for the messages in this book. And we want to be seen, we want to be known, and we want to be heard. So if you can help us with that, that'd be wonderful. But the gift for you is that you get to be inspired by all these amazing authors. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, Kez?
Well, it's just having the courage to get out there and show your face, really. Whether it be words, no matter how it is. Do more of these. Do more of collaboration with other people that are willing to take you onto a Zoom call and put it out there. With this particular book, I've got my ways of making it well known in the world. So I'll be doing that. And literally is sitting in the background, just making sure all the buttons are pressed and everything's correct. So it'll be going into a magazine. It already is in a magazine. It's in, I'll have to put it's called Conscious Living, actually. The Conscious Living magazine. It's already in there as just a photo and a small blurb about it. I want to put it into another magazine, and I'll be doing a video about it once I get a book in my hands, because I'm a bit of a show and tell artist, just like at school. When we used to take up the cricket in the jar or the spider in the jar and say, look what I caught on the weekend. I like to show and tell. So, that's what I'll be doing for Inspired Connections. I think it's worthwhile. I think this book is very worthwhile.
Beautiful. And there's also an opportunity if anyone feels like they would like to learn more about you and perhaps tap into some of your expertise for their own projects. You have given us your link here for your website. And what will people find when they come along there? What would you like to say about that? What is your invitation?
Well, they'll see the amount of work that I do. It's quite a big page, and there's more to go on today because I'm just about to launch one of my own books. But they'll just contact me, and if you want some information, I give you a free half-hour consultation to see if we gel or not. It's no good me like a person out of jail, fresh out of jail. I fully respect their story, but it might not gel with me or what I want. They might be whatever title they've got to be in jail with, they might not gel. Or a lot of people get hold of me, like recently 2 women from America asked me to review their book. They actually sent me the book. I couldn't do it. It was so violent, I couldn't do it. So, you have to be very careful. And so contact me. You have a free half hour with me, and we'll just see how we get on.
That's really generous, Kez. I mean, for someone who may or may not be a good fit to work together, and this is a mutual assessment, I'm sure. There may be only a certain number of people that really you're both feeling the yes to do this, and it's very generous of you. So if someone was going to be a yes for you, what would their ideal characteristics be? Who do you really buy?
Inspiring, heart-centered, knowledgeable. And being knowledgeable about what you write.
Inspiring, heart-centered, knowledgeable people may have difficulty with the be seen, be heard, be known. And so that's probably the medicine that you offer them. I say to people in that space, this is our time. This really is our time. And there is support available. And you are one of the people that supports this.
Yes. The thing that gets me the most about everybody, says about ageism, and it's very real and it's very much out there. But what they forget with ageism comes wisdom and kindness. We've been there, we've done that, we've had the hard knocks, and we know how to deal with it. So when you get to me with your book and say, what do you think? And I'll say, well, let's have a chat first of all, see if you like what I'm going to do. I don't go about it like if I like you, because I like everybody, but let's see if you like what I'm going to do for you. Let's see if we click. And then after that, whatever happens. But it's if you want to be seen, be heard, be known, there's 2 ways. Do it yourself or get hold of someone that will promote you.
Mm. So you need to have the book in a complete form. Yes, this is beyond the editing and all of that. The book needs to
once
be
it's published.
Yeah.
Once it's published, once it's launched, I'd love someone to send me a book.
Yes.
So yeah, the offer's out there. Send me a book.
Send her a book.
If
You
you've
heard
written,
it, people.
it's you can hold up your hand as much as you like and say, please send me a book. If you're not sent a book, then you don't know. Apart from myself, I really don't know what to say about the book. If I can't show and tell and read the blurb on the back that the publisher has written, there's not much to say.
Great. Very good.
So
Well, I hear where you're coming from, and I'm so glad that you're working with us on this project. I'm looking forward to knowing more about you and getting to know you better as we go forward. And just once again, for everyone who would like to participate on our launch day, we have the link here once again. And thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for your time, Kez. It was beautiful being with you. And you have any last comments to make? Any message you want to leave people
with?
Get
writing. Everybody has a book. Everybody has a book. Let's get writing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kez.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.